Good evening, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Spencer Spraggins, and I am absolutely delighted to welcome you all to this poetry event on behalf of the Poetry Society of Virginia and Germanna Community College. We are so grateful to both of those entities for hosting this, and we are thrilled that you all have taken time out of your busy schedules to devote some hours to poetic endeavors. So we will now proceed to the open mic, and we have, it looks like 7 readers, and our first poet will be Barbara Blankenbaker. Barbara, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
And remember that we are reading no more than 2 poems and holding it to 5 minutes per person. Thank you.
This poem is a poem that I dedicate to survivors of trauma. So anyone who's ever lived through a trauma and survived it, and such as COVID. I mean, we've had a huge amount of people who have suffered from anxiety, depression, and just fear throughout COVID. So if this is untitled, but if I were to title it, I think I'd call it Painted Feelings. In a painting where blue meets red, in that purple place where feelings are indescribable, where sadness and anger and rage turn to hope, that place where there is no reconciliation, where time has no meaning, and the world stops when the thoughts come. Feelings flood in like a whirlwind, overwhelming and yet tolerable. Face the fear and overcome the self-doubt in a place where feelings dwell but have no names. Feelings, what good are they if you can't make any sense of what they are? Feelings that are mine, even if they have no name, I own them. It's my story. I choose when I will tell it and with whom I will share it. A trusted person who will embrace my story and accept me without judgment. A brave person who is willing to take the journey with me as I bear my soul, sharing my story with courage and self-compassion, self-love and honesty. I empty it out. Emotional pain dissolves. I can breathe again and again. I become a vessel full of love and compassion, embracing myself and all that I am and all that I am becoming. I am at peace and I welcome each new day with courage and resolve that I am enough and beautiful just as I am. I am grateful I did the work. You will be too. And then I have one other one that I call it a grateful heart prayer. I taste the flavor of the morning sun. I feel the fullness of the dawning of a new day. I hear the songbird's sweet melodies lingering in the air. I am in harmony with the rhythm of the earth. I feel the healing power of God. I am healthy and whole. I am embraced by his deep, infinite love. I am safe and sound. And that's it.
Thank you so very much, Barbara. We appreciate it. William, please step up to the microphone, and if everyone will welcome William to the podium.
Hello, you guys hear me? Can you hear me, guys? Hello?
You're fine, William. Go ahead.
Hi. My name is William. It's my first time reading with the Poetry Society of Virginia. It's a great honor to come and check it out. So I'm going to read like 2 poems, but like you said, Miss Elizabeth, you had to have a 5-minute limit. So I'm just going to read that one. Going to read one for you. And this one I've written recently. This is like my most recent poem. It's called Path of Optimism. Running to the woods with no map, searching for anomalies, trying to find a trail, hopefully to lead us to opportunities. Welcome to the path of optimism. This will help our realism. Hiking through obstacles, blocking every way we go, seeing the world's point of view, letting our creativities flow. Welcome to the path of optimism. This will help our realism. That's path of optimism. Thank you.
Thank you so much, William. We so appreciate it. Our next poet is Mick Meza. Mick, are you ready?
Yes, I'll just go into my poem. How's everybody today or tonight? Okay, I'm going to go on the theme sort of similar to the workshops that I'd written previously. This one was in catharsis. Okay, oops, oh, it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, tonight I can't sleep. Tonight I can't sleep because I'm thinking, grieving about Dad. I don't want to enjoy the mood or hear the rustling of leaves. I want to yell at death and be hysterical to the stars. I don't want to hear as you walk in the valley of the shadow. I know you flew over it, created that silhouette. And tonight I can't sleep because I'm grieving about Dad. Tell Mum that Inferno and Purgatory exist on Earth. Pass on a message. Tell her we miss her. Because I want to yell at death and be hysterical to the stars. I want to remember the sound of your voice. I want to go to sleep because I'm tired. And tonight I can't sleep because I'm thinking about Dad. I'll miss you and your cheeky smile, your gardening, mentoring, and advice. And I want to yell at death and be hysterical to the stars. Tonight, a canyon has been cut through my life, keeping me awake through this tender night. And tonight I can't sleep because I'm thinking, grieving about Dad. And I want to yell at death and be hysterical to the stars. And the second poem is called Observance, and this was written last year about COVID. There are 4 horsemen of apocalypse. One has escaped, causing a pandemonium. Over 2,000 years ago, there was a crucifixion. Today, millions sacrifice their freedom. All religious gatherings cancelled. Sign God. The devout are praying. Scientists are researching a miracle for a vaccine. I have a fever called cabin and need an antidote. So on a fitness routine, walkers are friendly from a distance. Then I stayed in and ate pasta and ragu. Tomorrow, read above. Every day's on repeat. Anyone found the remote? I want to fast forward it. Days pass. I miss the warmth of your touch. Keep your sweater. Wear your sweater today. The sec keeps me close to you. A fog descends, obscuring view. Hope to see you when it lifts. Oh, Pegasus, will you not fly by, perform a divination in the sky to heal what is passing our way? Now we crown you, Corona the Destroyer. Our revenge will be celebrated. When the horse is caught and tamed, we will ride freely.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Our next poet is Jane Mitchell. Is Jane ready? And you're muted, Jane.
Yeah, I got unmuted. All right. This is something that's kind of seasonal because it's about the fall and cider and a little bit spooky. And it's about, well, I moved to Virginia when I was 15, but I came from upstate New York. So it's kind of a reflection on my time there. My history lives here. Now my soul drives me to this place of red-winged blackbirds, black and white cows, feed corn fields, beyond the tapered fingers of water, north of ancient wooded mounds, above a glacier wrought valley into the trusted arms of willow and maple trees. Here, the flavor of roadside cider rouses my fledgling swagger, dares me to wind down the steep village street to the same 4 storefronts, now smeary taped windows, ransom note signs. Then up to the drab Victorian crest, evoking names and eyes of bus ride families. It's here I see one familiar face, now on a strange boy, all knees, and wobble, pedaling a bike too small. Then down to the train's grade crossing, where 3 sweatered shades of long-haired girls, our sad last conversation, pull me to patrol the broken track past edifices, now dustbins, wheeze through tarry wafts of sulfur air, and hear a cloying melancholy in the faded echo of whistles and bells. Summoned as if by muscle memory, I turn, trudge up the ticky berm to the high school parking lot. The spit hallowed asphalt of victory and surrender, shame and oblivion. It is not that no one here needs me anymore. They never did. It's that I'm here with them, a peripheral glint, indelible, the shifting figure of an unforgotten dream. And that's,
Thank
That's
you
all
so
there
much,
is.
Jane.
thank you for letting me read.
Our next poet is Erika. Is Erika still with us? I'm not seeing her. I think Erika had to leave us. Sue Gabay, are you ready? You're muted, Sue. Still can't hear you. There we go. There we go. Oh, you muted yourself again. Okay, now I can see. All right.
I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Let me put it
All
that way.
right, wonderful. Thank you.
And I'm reading a short poem just to learn how to do it because I get stage fright. So I will try not to have any. This is a little story about Benny. Benny sat in front of me in the 3rd grade. I loved his chestnut curls, cut, I thought, not often. When he turned to pass papers back, I looked into his beautiful, bright brown eyes, admired his bright brown freckles. He always wore overalls, farmer style. In all weathers, he was barefoot. I didn't know what the Depression was, nor did Benny, but he knew what it felt like. That's all.
Thank you so much, Sue. And our last poet here is Karen Stewart. Karen, are you ready to read?
Yes, I'm ready.
Wonderful, thank you.
So it was cold and wet in central North Carolina today. So I thought I would read a poem I wrote at the end of August when it was not cold and wet. This is Prevailing. Destiny is a hickory tree this morning, as cicadas say it and squirrels play it with shedding nut and shell and shall and hush. I've heard it rain through leaves and limbs. Crows have called me out to seek cicada song, to lift my eyes and sleeping heart, to waking limbs, to squirrel surprise. And going down the hill with miles to go before I rest, I'm surely not over it yet. I'll never forget how the field across the way stands still and fenced to keep me out but still I look to listen to what it may be, what it maybe is all about. I have walked the poem today, found nibbled nuts along the way, bent on something like the determination of weeds, the deliberation of seeds, as the seeming constancy of cicadas is rising, concertos which herald the each of their last hurrahs. The gangly clovers have cropped up to bloom and bob their shaggy pink-tipped dye jobs, as Hurricane Ida is shrugging some clouds this way, off, trying to send some mayhem this way, but the blue above is just prevailing. My answer is yes. I don't need to know the question.
Thank you so much, Karen. Lovely. And my apologies, I have overlooked Laura Younger. She indicated that she wanted to read. Where is Laura?
I've unmuted, so you should be able to find me.
Okay, there you
Okay,
are. All right.
thank you.
Are you ready, Laura?
I am ready. This is one I wrote fairly recently. It's called Sequel. The Ministry of Vice and Virtue will now resume the removal of hands for state security. The sports stadium executions are herewith reinstated. The one-eyed minister has spoken. You girls, now encased in black fabric coffins, you cover your face, you stay in the house, you cook family meals, you close your books and you wait for a man to take you to the shop. The one-eyed minister has spoken. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Laura. Did I miss anybody else? Well, if that is the list, I have two short form poems that I'll be glad to share. The first one is a tanka, Japanese form, 5-line piece, and they typically do not have titles, but I break the rules and title mine. This one is entitled Lattice Work Pie. Granny Smith apples nestle deep within their crust, a perfect circle as a heart in childhood. And the second poem is a tribute to Grace Arentz.
Beth,
who-
you froze up while you were delivering that. Could you go ahead and reread that one for us?
Okay, I will be glad to. Tell me if I go again here. My internet is just giving me fits tonight. It's lattice work pie, Granny Smith apples nestle deep within their crust, a perfect circle as I hold the knotted hands that held my heart in childhood. Okay, so hopefully that made it through. And I'll try to read this next one quickly before my internet goes out completely. The social reformer Grace Arentz, who lived in Richmond on an estate named Blomendal, converted her home into a convalescent place for children, and then she made it into a model farm. She was a very unusual heiress. She shunned the camera. One of the few remaining photos of her shows her seated cross-legged on the ground and working the soil. When she died in 1926, she bequeathed her entire estate to the city of Richmond as a botanical garden, and she had it named Lewis Ginter Botanical Garden in honor of her uncle. It's there for you to visit. It's a wonderful place. And those of you who like stories about ghost hunters and that sort of thing, or maybe aspire to hunt ghosts yourselves, might want to start with this one. This is a mischievous ghost. I have volunteered there for many years, and the Blomendal house tends to have unusual electrical activity, lights flickering on and off, doors closing by themselves, and the staff just brush these aside and say, "Oh, that's just Miss Grace roaming the halls." So she was beloved by those who knew her and left the city of Richmond a wonderful legacy. So this one is entitled Grace, and it's written in an old Irish form. Hands of grace brushed the brow of hardship's face, held the heart without a home, spaded loam and spurned white lace. Blomendal holds her magic in its hall. Dim lights dance and doors unclose. Scent of rose where faint steps fall leaves a trace. Young hearts find her hiding place when they wander glamored ground, flower crowned by hands of grace. And that one I forgot to mention is from my collection, The Language of Bones. And I'd like to ask, before we conclude, are there any final questions? I have a couple of announcements I'll share, but I don't want to cut anybody off. Okay. Oh. Okay, did I freeze again? So sorry. Okay. Did everybody get the end of that poem, I hope? Okay. A couple of final announcements. This presentation will be posted to YouTube and to the Poetry Society of Virginia membership. David has posted the address in the chat, so you can make a note of that. I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Poetry Society of Virginia, and of course, Germanna Community College, that they have been wonderful in supporting our work tonight. Our October 2022 festival is coming up next year. The North Central and Northwest regions are planning to do an in-person celebration, which will also be live streamed. So we'll be able to welcome those of you who are coming to us from a distance. And it will be part of the centennial celebration of the Poetry Society of Virginia. I believe that's all the announcements that I was to share, unless I missed something. Does anybody else have anything else they need to add? Well, if not, I will thank you all for sharing your evening with us. I will thank our presenters. It has been an inspirational evening, and we are all in your debt. Stay safe, be well, and we look forward to seeing you at our centennial celebration next year. Bye now.